Good morning. This is Arlene Arnold, and we are in the focus of the week for December 3rd. So one of the things that I have been feeling for a while, but especially feel like it's for this week, is that we have a number of things that we need to do to clear up old emotions that we're attached to. Now, I don't know about you, but I have found that there's certain scenarios that have come up recently that I thought that I had dealt with before. So what came for us as assistance in this, and especially in this time of, for many of us, this is the Christmas celebration. And but so it's kind of odd, but we need to be prepared by letting go of the things that we might be attached to. Maybe there's things from our childhood. Maybe there are things that have happened in our adulthood that we need to be releasing as far as releasing an attachment to that. So this one's called Core Crucible. This is the Luminary Core Crucible. And it really assists us in the process of letting go. And it's a very fiery color. It doesn't show up as well on the here as it does on the card. So bring your grief and your hurt into the crucible. So just imagine that you have felt some grief, or you are attached to a scenario that has grief, or that has hurt in it. So what you can do is imagine that you're bringing it into the center of Core Crucible and asking for it to be transmuted. So bring your grief and your hurt into the crucible. Bring your doubt and your fears. The residue left from the drama of life is consumed, leaving only that which is fueled by passion and lived in joy. So we have gone through a lot in our lives, and we don't need to be attached to that anymore. This is a time that we are coming into a new way of being. And it doesn't mean that there aren't things that come up that we have to deal with, but we don't have to get taken over by the grief and by all of the fears and all the things that have taken us over in the past. So this is a reflection on Core Crucible, entering the fiery furnace. So that's what this looks like when you see it in real time. Entering the fiery furnace of transformation means there's no turning back. The die is cast, the way is set, all else pales in comparison to this crucial step on the spiritual journey. Nothing will be the same again. And I want to emphasize that because I was reading what was happening astrologically this week. And it was kind of like we're at that point where we're stepping into the new, but it's still pretty confusing, and sometimes not even knowing what's the new and what's the old. So it's a time of really paying attention to what's coming up, paying attention to how it feels in your body and in your heart, paying attention to what it is that you truly want to bring forth in your life, and putting your attention to that. And being in the world as an observer. This is one of the things that I have learned, is that if I can be in the world as an observer, like I'm kind of pulled back and I see things from a different perspective, then I begin to see how I am engaged sometimes in the drama part of it. Although I don't engage there like I used to, and you probably don't either, but it still can, sometimes we can get caught up in some kind of feelings and that kind of thing. And feelings that's part of who we are. So it's not about not having feelings. It's about being able to pull back and see the scenario from a distance or a height, so you can see what's happening for you and what's happening for other people. And it makes it a whole lot easier to make choices about your life. And we're really in a time where we're going to have choices that come to us. How are we going to go forward? who's going to be here with us? Because many people are leaving the planet. My good friend left the planet, and now that has changed my life. And I miss her terribly, but at the same time, it's an opening for a new way of living, a new kind of way of seeing my life. So be open to that kind of thing. And Core Crucible is here if we find there are things we're having trouble letting go of. And you can just bring them into that crucible of the energy of Core Crucible. And you can just allow them to be transformed. And that new energy then becomes usable for you. So let's pay attention this week to what comes up where we are attached to emotions or thoughts or things that can be holding us back. And let's bring them into the Core Crucible. And then the Core Crucible helps us transmute those. So you can just imagine that. You could even stand in the middle of Core Crucible and just let yourself let go of anything you're ready to let go of. So for those of you who have the luminaries, Core Crucible is on page 12. And I encourage you to work with it in pieces. There's a lot of information in that particular part of the book. And so you'll want to stay with that for a while. All right, so let's prepare for our celebration by doing what we need to do to clear out the old stuff so we can come into it as the new human being that we are becoming. All right, my friends, have a good week, and I will see you next week.